To bury your demons, you must face what created them.
Bury your demons.
Bury your demons.
Face what created them.
Demons, you must face what created them.
We're starting from the top.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, and welcome to the Fanatics of Film. And I am your friend, Ben. And hail to the Fandom Menace. Hail to all of you out there in this insanity that we are currently living in, this insanity that we are currently wallowing in, that we're trying to unearth ourselves from. Thank you so much for joining us today here at the Fanatics of Film at the Hollywood Studios. No, actually, it's in our remote location in Florida. And I have my good friends with me.
Florida's like really exotic.
It's just
He wants to retire with his YouTube channel, with his YouTube station.
yes.
We're sipping margaritas on the beach. We just got off the Miami Strip, you guys.
With us today, he's crazy. He's awesome. And he has been with this channel for a long time. I love the guy, Alex. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. And of course we have Thomas.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I was going to on TV.
Well, at least Florida was safe from Godzilla, right?
It was. I think
none of the monsters were chilling around in
map
Florida.
That it shows. I don't
Yeah.
think I saw Florida being affected at all.
At all.
You know? Yeah, even the hurricane, was actually avoiding Florida. It seemed like.
Yeah.
But so, we were just discussing off camera in our other studio back in California just 2 hours ago before we flew in our jet here to Special Florida. We were discussing off camera how interesting this film was to all three of us because we're coming at it from maybe three different perspectives, past perhaps 2.5, 2.75, we're not quite sure, but a few different perspectives that we have here. We have the diehard fan, and we have maybe someone who thinks it's a horrible B movie, and someone who thinks that maybe that it might be in between. We had something like this when we did our Deadpool video. We did Deadpool. It was like Neil, and Neil was just like, "This is the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life," and I was like, "Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't as good as the first one," and Joe was just like, "This piece of crap sucked my dad." Anyway, anyway, I digress. But we hope you have fun with us on this channel. It was kind of a hot mess. This movie was a kind of a hot mess. The script was kind of horrible in spots. I noticed that a lot of people near us were laughing their asses off at things that didn't seem like they were supposed to be. But now that Alex woke me up to a lot of things, I have changed my mind on some of those things. But anyway, I think there was a lot of definitely misinterpreted parts, a lot of parts that won't necessarily be as digested as well as your average film critic. Please.
Sure. Well, I mean, I really actually loved it because
it was super fun.
It was hilarious. Yeah. I mean, I can really enjoy what I perceive to be play on like a B movie. I'm not sure if they intended for it to be that way, but I feel like that's kind of always part of the B movie ethos. But yeah, I have not watched many old Godzilla films, but I am aware of them to a degree, as far as the fact that they're B movies, right? They're not,
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So yeah, I really enjoy that because B movie kung fu films is something I really enjoy, and so that's how I kind of was able to get into, a terrible movie. It's awful, but it's so good. It's so bad it's good is kind of where I maybe depart from you a little bit. I perceive it as it's just a shit show. It's really just an awful storm of a movie where the terrible writing, they just throw together a cast of really really good actors, but
Right.
you can tell that the lines that they've been given are bullshit, and they don't know how, they're just giving it their best. But the guy from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Guy from Inception.
It's Serizawa?
Serizawa. So yeah, he's an astounding actor. He's really good as a drama actor. I think the biggest, like, or one of the biggest actors in Asia, and I think primarily he does dramas, and like even Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is more of a drama kung fu film.
That was one of my favorite films of all time. Actually, I love that. And the soundtrack, Yo-Yo Ma doing that. Dun, 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 that you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
I mean the soundtrack to Crouching Tiger, and
Incredible.
its amazing sequel as a Netflix special. Then the sequel was horrible. It was on Netflix. Yeah, his performance was funny because it was delivery of some of these moments where it's supposed to be this dramatic moment. At least I perceived it to be, and then. I was loosened up by a lot of it, and just seeing it there with you and just noticing, because the moment where I was actually able to like let down my guard was when you said, "It's just an awesome B movie," and it made me think, "Oh yeah, duh," because it's been so long since I've seen a real Godzilla film that this type of thing was birthed by. At least you had that dialogue that wouldn't seem to go anywhere, or didn't really have true meaning or whatever, or maybe it was just really weird, but just anyway would normally come off as just comedic.
It was hilarious to me the whole time. I was just
And
laughing.
see, that's and I feel like your interpretation of it is pretty dead on.
Really?
To where
Okay.
man, the old Godzilla movies, the Japanese lines, it's almost, because when you're talking, it's like when you look back, it is dry. There's no power talk. It's pretty straightforward, to the point. There's no hidden agendas. Like in those older movies, it is cheesy. There is a lot of cheese in it. But I'll tell you what I really liked about this movie. From the first minute in, you see Godzilla. I don't know, the first movie, it kind of like pondered around. It's like, it was pretty go from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
So
it drops you right in.
Yeah, it drops you right in. So you're pretty into it from the get-go. There was clear motive for moving forward. That one dude has to find his daughter. There was conflict of interest from the beginning. He's like, nah, dude, Godzilla needs to die. And they're like, nah, Godzilla's a god, literally. And then slowly but surely, his opinion is changed throughout the movie.
Nice.
But the dialogue is dry. There is no, again, no power talk. It's straight, what they say is face value. And that's a Godzilla movie. That's like Godzilla, and the rest of it's fighting. It got a little bit wishy-washy towards, I'll say 2/3, where if you weren't a Godzilla fan, you're probably getting a little bored, to where, man, they were just dropping Easter eggs left and right from all these old Godzilla movies, from like the Mothra song to talking about King Ghidorah, and talking about extraterrestrial, because in the very first King Ghidorah movie, he comes from space, from a comet. So it's like all these little things, and it's like, dude, no way, like, and then it brings it all back.
And all in all, like from what you've said here today, it's just that it's simply that if you're a fan of the original shows, are trying to really steer it, or at least steer people to understand it better, or at least keeping it in the same spirit.
It's pretty canon.
Keeping it in the same spirit.
Yeah, definitely keeps in the same spirit. It's pretty canon. There's some dry humor. There's some funny parts. That one American guy who's like over American. It's almost like stereotypical.
Yeah. It was like
you had the diverse crew, where you had the couple of Asians. You had the chick who was like almost from the Mothra movie, because from the Mothra movies, there's like a generational family tree that like protects Mothra, and that was pretty much her. And she was talking about the song. Like, dude, I'm telling you, that was like such a huge like canon. Like, yes, so cool to see. Like, it didn't steer away from what's previously been laid.
And the story wasn't a bad story. It was actually a really damn good story about seismic activity and bioacoustics. I mean, this is, as a science fiction fan, I grew up on science fiction. I love it so much, and I love the whole concept of, how different things like this, different forms of communication can actually change how. I mean, part of me was like, I wasn't into the whole idea of them being able to just turn off all the monsters and turn them on and turn them off, just control all of them at once like that. That was too much Game of Thrones Night King business to me, and I'm going to get to that in a second with the Night King stuff, because there was definitely some Night King Game of Thrones action going on there that I was not a fan of. But the whole I do love bioacoustics, and the whole concept of like animals animals reacting frequencies and communicating via frequencies. I mean, you have elephants who are able to communicate miles and miles away from seismic activity, etc.,
Whales,
from vibrations,
thing,
everything. But once again, that has to do with frequency and vibration, and that's what this movie was about. It was about the communication and vibration and using that. I was really pissed off at Vera Farmiga's character, and she was really lame. Extremely lame. They to be very official about it, to seem very official about it, she was just horrible. I mean, forgive me, I'm going to rant about Hollywood for just a moment, but in the last 10, 20 years, they've been trying to make everything about the environment. And so they're trying to make humans out to feel like we're a disease, like we're a disease on the planet. I mean, I get it. We all care about the environment. We all care about the planet. There's a lot of pollution. It sucks. I'm with you on that. I agree with you on that. But we don't need to call ourselves a disease. Do we need to? Anyway, that's just, there's a constant narrative with that happening. They did it with the day the Earth stood still, instead of it being about anti-war, which is an awesome message, because it's about an alien who comes and tells everybody, you guys better stop fighting or else we're going to kill you all. And it was actually a really cool story, because it was an anti-war thing, and they were dealing with the Cold War stuff at that time when that movie was first made. But then when the Keanu Reeves one came out, I think it was like literally about 9 years ago or something. It was just about the environment. They had reduced it to being like, you're destroying the planet, you're humans, and you're a disease on your planet, and you should destroy yourselves because you're a disease on the soul. And it's just this horrible like assumption that we have, we're this cancer on the planet, and I refuse to swallow that garbage. I'm sorry, but this narrative of the cancer on the planet and the Titans are we're supposed to live in harmony with them, and so as a result, Vera Farmiga's character is Thanos. Hello, she's like, oh, we just must kill we must coexist. As a result, we must kill everybody. And then there's that whole stupid scene where the daughter, by the way, they had, side note, they're actually thinking about having her. They were thinking about there was a lot of rumors about her playing a young Princess Leia, which actually would be perfect because she looks kind of like her. She could be a young Princess Leia, but they would screw her up anyway. So they're not going to, I hope that they do not do that, because they would just mess Leia up. They would treat her like crap and make her into an anti-male feminist. On the side, but from the side of that, so what I was getting to with the point was Vera Farmiga's character. So she's like, there's a moment where they're having to, pop the cap off the volcano there, that moment, and she's just like, no, Mom, no, and she's just like, sorry, it's for a greater good, honey. And I'm just like, come on,
that
you
kind of
stupid.
It's hilarious to me.
Well, I mean, it was funny. It was just funny, but her character was just making me
so ridiculous.
It was, but it's like, okay, well, they're trying, like a lot of Hollywood characters, they're trying to make a Thanos type into like a digestible anti-hero, and then soon after that they're going to try to make it into a digestible hero, and it's like,
it's just, the problem is whenever they politicize it, obviously. But I do think that is a really good call out. I definitely had that impression while we were watching. I was like, dang, like, yeah, this is going really hard on that, but I guess I glazed over it and just kind of found the humor in it all because it was watching a movie. But like, yeah, totally, that's definitely going on, and I think that it's important to call it out. But there's a balanced way to look at that, right? I mean, definitely we have an impact on the environment. We need to take that into consideration. We even need, maybe not need, but we don't mind reminders. It's nice to get reminders even, but you don't necessarily need to shove it down our throats and tell us, that we're a disease.
I guess the thing that bugged me was the Game of Thrones chick. It kind of explained her narrative. So it's like, okay, I mean, at least it tried to tell you why she was doing what you were doing. The organization that the other dudes are behind, they kind of really didn't hash that out at all. And then also, dude, they're jumping from base to base, just killing and getting all these monsters. Dude, don't you have a radio? Don't you have like, yo, someone's headed your way, homie, you should prepare.
Well, that's the
like,
thing.
I don't know. There was a couple plot holes throughout the movie.
No.
Like, yeah, they're
no.
okay,
That's
but
missing.
It jumped.
Entirely.
It jumped.
The entire thing was a plot hole. I mean, the entire film, because nothing would have worked, right? Like, I really like the science fiction aspect of it. Yeah, like that makes sense to me. Like the seismic and being able to control it. I'm saying that, like, and yes, like the concept, the thread, the script itself, though, like there were so many holes everywhere in it, and that's part of why I found it so funny, because it's just a horrible film. Like I don't know how to explain that. Like,
You're right. No, it's like to me, what you're saying is once you let your guard down and let your expectations go down.
Yes.
you actually have to
Yeah.
set yourself apart from the movie. I don't
Don't
allow
try to dig into
the
it too
suspension
much.
of disbelief that like normally goes on with watching a film kind of goes out the window for me in some respects. I actually become much more objective and just like take myself out of the movie and make fun of the movie in my mind the whole time, and it's hilarious. And
that-
so a movie is so bad that it's good for me. And I've
You
got
just go
a
for
lot
the
of
ride.
films
Just go
I
for
really
the
like.
ride.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
don't overanalyze
exactly.
it. Just
Because I could sit there and poke holes through the whole thing a million times over, right? Like,
But
that-
then when you look back at it at the very end of the movie, and then you look back at it, it's like everything the humans did it really matter? No. It only mattered what Godzilla did, because that's all Godzilla is about. It's about Godzilla.
And that's what it should be about. And that's
hold on, because